Hey guys, BJ Ward from Ward Fitness Systems, and this is how to track your protein, calories, and macros. So protein is going to be the category for most of you that's going to have the biggest jump when you first start. Okay, the large majority of clients that first start our coaching program are anywhere from 50 to 100 grams even short per day on protein. Now, we've spoken in the past about how important protein is for not only keeping you full, but also helping you build muscle, right? Muscle provides the shape that we want as you lose fat, so it's key that we're eating enough protein. Let's jump into it. So I want you to start with protein with items that are considered 100% protein, okay? So these are gonna be chicken breasts. This is ground chicken breast. Could be chicken breasts that you grilled. You've got canned tuna, lean turkey breast, egg whites, really lean ground beef, so 96% and up, really lean pork chops. We've got some fat-free Greek yogurt, another great lean protein source, okay? So all of those, like I said, we're gonna consider 100% protein. Now, there are some trace amounts of carbohydrates and fat in those, 1 to 3 grams. But if you're just starting your macro tracking, you're a beginner with tracking, foods that you can fit into one category are going to be your best friend. Okay, so at the beginning especially, I want you to consider those foods we just mentioned 100% lean protein for our tracking purposes. I forgot to mention cod, orange roughy, lean white fish like that is also going to be 100% protein. Now, we've also got some protein sources that are high in protein, but also have enough fat that we need to track them. So that's going to be foods, and these are all the good ones: ham steak, bacon, cheese, most of your beef and buffalo steaks, certain tuna cuts, and salmon are all going to have enough fat that we need to take it into account when we're tracking our macros. Now, the final category are items that are more fat than protein, but they still give you good protein amount. That's going to be nuts and nut butters primarily. I'm an almond butter fan myself. Cool. So those are our 3 categories of protein. So how do we determine the actual numbers we're going to use? Well, let's go back to our lean proteins we talked about at the beginning. For raw meat, here's a simple way to kind of eyeball your protein grams in raw meat. For every pound of raw meat, I want you to assume it's 100 grams of protein. Now, is that exact? No. You may have some deviation, plus or minus that. But if it's lean protein, it's going to be roughly around 100 grams for our purposes here at the beginning, okay? The nice thing about that is you can cut that ratio down. If it's half a pound, you have 50 grams of protein, right? Super simple to get started. Now, outside of those lean proteins, any meat or protein that comes in a package, you're going to have a nutrition label that's going to tell you serving sizes and the protein amounts in it, right? Again, keep it simple. Use these if you have them. If it's a cup of egg whites for 15 grams of protein, make sure you're measuring out a cup of egg whites each time, right? Each time you're scrambling eggs, measure it out. Now, if you have an item, say you go to the butcher and you buy a steak, or you buy a fillet of salmon, and it doesn't come in a package that has a nutrition label on it, we're going to find that answer just like you would find any other answer. Google it, right? So you would put in, if it's a steak, let's call it a ribeye, you're going to Google ribeye steak, you'll need to weigh it, see if it's 8 ounces or so, and that's going to give you your breakdown. Now, that ribeye reminds me, some other items that are protein but also have higher fat, and we're here in Kansas City, barbecue, okay? Pulled pork, brisket, items like that are also gonna have high enough fat content that you need to track it, okay? So you went into Google, and it's gonna give you 20, 25 different responses. And you can also track in your MyFitnessPal as well. So you're gonna be overwhelmed, you won't know which one to choose. Here's the good news, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Just choose one, use it every time you have that item, okay? So if it's a ribeye steak, choose what you're gonna use, and use that measurement every time. You're going to create a macro database that allows you to simply get into your app, choose what you've used before, and move on, right? What takes you 10 minutes a day your first week is going to take you 30 seconds a day 4 weeks into this program, once you have your macro database built, okay? So those are your lean proteins. Last note, guys, always weigh your meat raw, okay? All of our measurements are based off raw meat, so make sure that you weigh it raw. Now, if you're eating out, obviously you're not gonna be able to weigh your protein source, right? Chicken breast is just gonna show up at the table. The best way to gauge there is to use your hand. So your palm is gonna be 3 to 4 ounces of protein. So if chicken breast shows up, guesstimate how many palms it is. If it's 2, cool, get as close as you can. Enter that as your macro tracking, okay? So again, 3 to 4 ounces is the size of your palm when we're talking about lean protein sources. That doesn't work as well for eggs and yogurt, but for any actual meat proteins, it works fantastic, okay? Hope that helps, guys. And remember, tracking this stuff is a skill. And just like any other skill, it's gonna be a process to get better at it. Keep with it. The first couple weeks are by far the most difficult. After that, it's super simple and allows you to be in control and have more dietary freedom during your day while hitting your numbers that are gonna produce fat loss for us. Have a great day.